Well, to talk more about the significance of the Chinese Lantern Festival, I want to bring in Timothy Madigan. He is Associate Professor of Sociology at Mansfield University of Pennsylvania. Thank you so much, sir, for joining us today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, let's first talk about the Lunar New Year. It's come to a close, but now we're moving on to this other celebration of the Lantern Festival falling right after it. So for our international viewers out there, why is this festival so significant, and how is it tied to that Lunar New Year?
All cultures have traditions and beliefs that are passed down across the generations, and they could have origins 100 years ago or more. And society at that time could have a completely different structure than it does currently. But ideas get passed down, and people maintain the ideas, and some of the material aspects of the culture back then are also passed down. And so originally were these lanterns part of a fertility ritual of people back then? Were they attempts to communicate with some type of spirit in an afterlife, or Buddhist or Taoist practices that get transferred over into Han culture? There's different explanations out there on how it developed, but for sure people continue to celebrate today this tradition in different ways.
And so
in the Lantern Festival, talking about the connection with the Spring Festival, the Lantern Festival starts off at the end of the Spring Festival. So it's a marker of the end of the Chinese New Year Spring Festival celebration, which is usually 2 weeks long, 15 days long in Chinese society.
So I want to talk about the lanterns, of course. You can't have a lantern festival without lanterns. We're seeing some of this video here. What kind of designs do we typically see? Of course, this is the year of the tiger. We're expecting to see some of those designs, tiger designs. And what other activities surround this particular celebration?
Well, the children will obtain some type of lantern like the one I have in my hand here, and they attach it to a stick, and they'll go outside and carry it around, putting in a little candle on the inside to light it up. And so this is an activity that a lot of children experience growing up during the Lantern Festival times. And people will go out and look at the lanterns that are on display in different places in public. And they'll also hang some around their house. Like you see behind me, you see the big red lantern off to my side here. They'll put those out in front of their doors to decorate their homes at this time of the year. So, there's lots of dragon festivals and lion dances that will also go on during the Spring Festival all throughout, and also fireworks that are supposed to scare away the spirits of the bad spirits and bad luck, and not prevent those from causing any problems for people in the new year coming up.
Yeah, a lot of symbolism there. Certainly all of these products and activities, there's a lot of people are gathering for these celebrations, and that, of course, gives a boost to the Chinese economy consequently. So just how much of a boost would you say comes from this kind of celebration?
I would say compared to the U.S., it would be similar to Valentine's Day in the United States, where people are going out and buying paper merchandise, and they're buying special treats that they can eat, like chocolate candies here in the United States. And they use the occasion to go out here in the United States to eat at restaurants, and so that you could find over in China as well. And people buying cards. This year is the year of the tiger, and the tiger is a symbol of energy, vitality in China. And so we already sent out our tiger cards to all our friends over here and received some of our own back, as the custom has it.
And Timothy, also we mentioned that the Lantern Festival is considered the Chinese equivalent of Valentine's Day that we're celebrating in the U.S. and elsewhere around the world. Is there any overlap in China in the celebration of these two big days that are coming so close to each other?
Yes, some scholars connect Lantern Day in older China to liberalness and opening up in Chinese society for young people to interact with each other. Back in the old days, people didn't have many opportunities to go out and interact and mingle with someone of the opposite sex when they were younger. And so special messages were written on some of these lanterns containing riddles, and people went out in public to try to solve the riddles and seek the person who wrote the riddle to talk to them if they got the right answer to the riddle. And otherwise, today, dating and mating is much more open compared to what it was in the old days. Outside of the Lantern Festival, there wasn't much opportunity for young people interact with each other was a very tightly controlled process in that area of social life.
All right. Well, thank you so much for breaking this all down for us. Timothy Madigan, Associate Professor of Sociology at Mansfield University of Pennsylvania.